Hello, Disney magical fans and all of you out there. We're so happy that you've joined us for another episode here at the Disney Countdown Show. I am the Dapper Danielle, and I've been joined here today by Megan, the magical millennial. How are you, Megan?
Hello, I am good. I'm best as I can be, just because unfortunately I am battling a bit of a cold officially today, so we're going to get through it though. Everything's fine. I'm going to grab me a medicine ball from Starbucks after this, and it's all going to be okay. But other than that, I'm doing good. How are you, Danielle?
Well, I'm not sick like you are, but instead we're changing the seasons here in Florida right now. So I don't know if you've seen, but it's been beautiful fall weather here. And we're now down to like, what is it? 80 during the day, and then like a nice 70, 60, and you can see all the Floridians. Like even today I'm wearing my little long sleeve dress, and all the Floridians are walking around. They're like, oh my goodness, I need a like light jacket right now. And I was in Hollywood Studios and saw, well, let's just say you can kind of guess who's from the UK, because they are still the ones that look like they're struggling the most because it's still too hot for them. Right. Where for me, I'm just like, oh no, this is magical fall weather, y'all. And it's, but I say this, yeah, it's definitely sweater weather. But I say this because now I'm having the seasonal changing allergies. So I'm feeling stuffy. I'm sneezing like crazy. So I've been taking a lot of Claritin and whatnot. No, this is not sponsored, but if they would like to sponsor me, then that's fine too.
Claritin sponsor Dapper Danielle.
Please.
She'll promote you a lot.
I also recently went through and cleaned out a lot of my souvenirs. Like, I went through and sold a lot of my ears, a lot of other random little tidbits that I've been collecting. I'm like, I don't have a good place to store these in my new place. And just from like moving around dust and stuff, I've just been extra stuffily. But so I feel that, Megan, because I was sick the other, what was it, when Blake was visiting us here a couple episodes ago. And now I feel like now it's your turn to be sick as we are recording. So I'm so sorry about that.
That's okay. Hey, it is technically fall, so the illnesses are sweeping through, I guess, and I have no idea how, but I guess one got me, so we'll see. We'll see how long this takes to recover. But I'm honestly feeling okay. It's still like day 2, so I don't think I'm in the worst of it yet, unfortunately. But at least we're okay for today. So I'm excited for today's episode, of course.
Oh yeah, because we got some good stuff to get into.
I know. I'm excited for more of our Disney Miss today.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be a great show. I can't wait.
Now, before we get into before we get into the meat and potatoes of it all, we do have to again remind you guys about our socials. Make sure you're following me, the Dapper Danielle, and the magical millennial _ for Megan on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. And also make sure you are following Disney Countdown Show on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. And Pod Disney over on X, formerly known as Twitter. Yes. So all good things. All good things.
Yes.
Now that we got that technical stuff out of the way, we have last episode, Megan, I was re-listening to our last episode, and we had some fantastic reviews, and we have some more that have come in also. Yay! And so again, we want to remind listeners that if we try to go through and we read the reviews and whatnot, and it's just a really cool way for y'all to get a shout out here on the show, and it helps more people discover the magic that we try to create here on the Disney Countdown Show. And if you're not listening on Apple Podcasts, that's okay. You can still rate us on Spotify. You just can't leave the little notes and whatnot. But you can DM us also for reviews over on like Instagram. Like go over there and like send us a little note. We try to read those too.
Good old fashioned DM. Yeah, we like those as well.
Yes. Well, I'll read this first one from Be Magical, yellow heart emoji. It's a 5-star review again. Thank you so much. And it says, the best podcast to ever podcast. Star eyes emoji. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. As someone who's grown up with Disney, this podcast has been something to comfort me on the hard days, make me smile, and gives me those park feels. But also, my best friend that I grew up with is a cast member coordinator over at Epcot. So listening to this makes me feel a little closer to her when I miss her. Love you both. Oh, thank you so much. Be magical. That's so nice.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That makes my heart so happy.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Oh man. Well, I mean, I'm loving all these reviews. We do have another one from Spaceship Ears.
Oh, and another Epcot reference.
I know. All the Epcot today. My favorite park. It is a 5-star review as well, and it says, "The passion is irresistible."
Ooh.
And they say, "I followed Danielle for a while and recently got to meet her in Florida." Oh, okay. You got to meet this person, Danielle. Yay. Little did I know she had an amazing podcast too. It's great to listen to Megan and Danielle, and their positivity is infectious. Keep doing what you're doing. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. And
yes.
I mean, yes, we love doing it, so we will keep doing it. Yeah, that's so nice. Thank you. We try to keep it as positive as possible. I know that we also like to say our true feelings on this show because there are certain things that happen or certain news that comes out that, you know, we don't necessarily love. So, but we do try to keep it as positive as possible and keep the magic going. So we appreciate you guys listening and obviously leaving those reviews, agreeing, disagreeing, what have you. Then we appreciate it. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I feel like when it comes to like even the disagreeing, agreeing and whatnot, me and you, we also go off of each other when it comes to some of our regular content. So some of you might have seen one of my most recent videos about the pin and talking about Chip and Dale, which I know it made for great content, and a lot of other people also didn't know Megan. So if you want to explain what happened leading up to that.
Totally. So I went to the parks, and I usually go and check 21st Century Music, which is our pin store on Main Street. And I saw they had a new pin. They have a few new pin drops. God, they have like pin drops every other day almost, I feel like.
Wow.
And so I saw one, and it was an Eras one, and it had what looked like Chip on the pin, and it was just quote unquote Chip. But it was in the shape of a D, and it had Dale written vertically next to him. And I also missed this. It did say 1943 on the tiny little letters on the corner of the pin. Barely legible, exactly. And so I knew it was an Eras pin, but I looked at it and I'm like, well, that's an obvious mistake because obviously Dale has a red nose, and that's the Dale that we know today. And of course, I posted on Instagram. I cannot tell you how many DMs I got or responses to that one post on my stories saying, like, that's not Dale, that's Chip. Like, oh, Disney, how could you make that mistake? So I was flooded with I couldn't respond to all of them, and I'm like, well, yeah, that's what it seems like. And that's what I thought. I thought it was a mistake. I thought it was
everyone
a little
else thought that
pin.
too.
Everyone thought that, right? Because we don't know. I'm gonna let you continue the story. We don't know the true history of Chip and Dale in that era in the 1940s. So Danielle, please tell me how you corrected me.
So I sent you a message saying, by the way, I'm going to use this as a random Disney thing to be able to promote the podcast also, because I can really play off of this because I know the history about it.
Yes, so, Danielle warned me.
I did. I warned her ahead of time just to be like, I'm just letting you know. I'm just gonna post about this, and just to let the world know not only that we have a podcast, but then it plays into my content and the random Disney things.
Yes.
And so the story goes is that Chip and Dale, when they first premiered, they did not have their own short. They premiered as mischievous chipmunks in a 1943 Pluto cartoon called Private Pluto. It was a World War II propaganda film, and these were just separate little characters. They were made to look identical, just like normal chipmunks. Someone actually pointed out they're very reminiscent of the style of the chipmunks that are in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and I would 100% agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But this short did so well in 1943, and these chipmunks got such great feedback that Disney decided, well, maybe we should like build out these characters some more and give them a little more characteristics and definition. And then slowly it became Chip and Dale that we know today. They actually have names. They have more definitive features like the red nose and the gap in between the teeth. But they were identical, just little black-nosed chipmunks when they first premiered in 1943. And that's what they were referencing in the Eras collection. And I think what threw everybody off was the release of that pin. Mm-hmm. Because it is new, But why didn't it release with the 40s collection that we had months ago?
Exactly. Like, why now? Why is this one being released at this time? And it's very confusing. The whole, the Eras collection and also the D100 celebration is a bit interesting in the way things are being unfolded and rolled out. So,
well, like, I feel like Disneyland's finishing up their celebration and Disney World's just now starting ours.
Exactly. Like, I guess we're done in, a few weeks here. And then you guys are starting very soon. And just the different type things that are being brought to the parks and shows wise and stuff. It's all different. So yeah, the fact that this pin was there and was like new and everything, and I was just like, there's no way. There's in the back of my head, I was like, there's no way Disney would have made that mistake. So what's going on here?
What I think is unfortunate is that they have before, and
okay,
so like one example of an actual misprint. I don't know if you've seen these, if you've had these shirts over there in Disneyland, Megan, is that there is a Country Bears. It looks like a concert T-shirt.
Oh!
Did you see this?
Yes. Is it missing like an L or something? Or
yes.
Yeah, I did see that.
Oh my gosh! And I need to read through the rest of the shirt to make sure there's no other spelling errors. But this shirt, instead of like, it says the location because here at Walt Disney World, the Country Bears perform in Grizzly Hall. Grizzly Hall, right?
Yes. Yeah.
The shirt is missing the L, so it's Grizzy Hall, and I'm like.
Grizzy Hall.
Grizzy Hall. And then one of my favorite misspellings is actually it's on a Dooney and Burke. It's one of those fancy bags. Yes. It's a Small World collection with the teal background, and they have all the little words and whatnot. What is it? It came out right after we reopened right after we reopened from COVID.
Yeah.
And Shalom is spelled wrong.
No. How did they spell it?
It's an N instead of an M at the end, so it's Shalom.
Oh my gosh. That blows my mind. Given how strict Disney is with all of the IP, everything that they release, and all the steps they have to take, I can't believe that made it through like that many like tiers, that many steps of people reviewing it, and I went out to the stores and online.
There were so many
blows my mind.
Technical errors that happened in that genre. So even like in the what is it? I'm gonna make. So if you're listening and if you have a Dooney and Burke collection, there's that whole generation in 2019 to 2001 that a lot of the Dooney and Burke bags have Photoshop errors on them.
Errors, okay.
And one in particular is the flower and garden bag with the dark blue background and Minnie Mouse. And whoever did the Photoshop job, like she's posing like with her arm up and then her head, like her hand on her head. So this little gap in between her arm and her head, they didn't remove the background, so there's patches of white in between spaces because they didn't make it a clear like PNG format. It was just somebody did remove the border, a JPEG and didn't do the formatting correctly. And I'm like, guys, this is basic Photoshop 101. Why did we not get
Canva.
this?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. So I actually was in charge of making a file, but see, random tangent again in the middle of the podcast. I was in charge of making a file from Ever After Jewelry Company to the proprietor to be able to forward on to Disney merchandising. And I made a giant file saying every Photoshop artistic issue wrong with all these Dooney and Burke releases and merchandise releases that we've had. From lack of character integrity to incorrect coloring to like all of these other things. I sent it off and the proprietor came back and said, Danielle, I'm going to show this to certain people in person, but I cannot share this in a full email because it's too mean. And I was like, what do you mean it's too mean? It's factual.
It's facts.
I think some people would have viewed it as too nitpicky, but because people wouldn't necessarily know about the Minnie Mouse being incorrect. And that's something I have not been able to necessarily share. Like Orange Bird missing his tummy in the 2001 Dooney and Burke bag and whatnot. So
okay, yeah, gotcha.
Yes, Danielle's been passionate about this from the beginning of character integrity, y'all. It's been a struggle.
I get it. It again, it's so crazy that it makes it to, the show. It makes it to the stores, and yet there's typos. Like, that's wild to me.
But that's why nobody was surprised if it was an error in the pin.
Right, and and of course that it being that like obvious, it was so obvious. So I was thinking in the back of my head, what am I missing? Like, there's something that I am not in on, and that was it. Like, I don't know if I ever saw that cartoon, the first cartoon of Chip and Dale, when they weren't Chip and Dale.
Well, since it was a World War II propaganda film, it's not like it's released on Disney Plus or anything like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You just have to be able to find it on somebody's YouTube channel or whatever.
Which I'm sure it is on YouTube somewhere. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The earliest memories I have of watching Chip and Dale were it's actually in our queue for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. It's the Christmas episode where they're running through the trees and Pluto's chasing them, and I think that they actually changed their noses at that time. I'm pretty sure. Because that might have been the 50s or 60s. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, anywhoos.
Back on focus, Megan, as we go on these tangents.
I mean, we had to talk about it. Like, it was something that it kind of it blew up on my Instagram. And, of course, I'm glad that you made a TikTok about it, because I would not have known. So thank you very much for that.
But I feel like that's how also a lot of people a lot of new people are probably listening to this episode and our last episode, because they're just now finding out that we have a podcast. Because whenever we talk about it normally, I feel like social media sometimes suppresses it. But if we blend it into our normal content, like what I tried to do, I just kind of like casually mentioned it in the very beginning of the episode. Everybody's like, what do you mean you have a podcast?
Like, what?
Because they notice the tiniest details.
I know. They're listening in. They're listening to the things that we're saying. So thank you guys. Mm-hmm. And of course, we want to thank all the new people who are listening to our podcast. Hello, welcome, thank you. We also do bonus content also. If I want to like throw that out there, we have been doing some awesome bonus episodes on Patreon, and of course our Patreon fam. Hello everybody, and thank you so much for being a part of this exclusive special family. We do appreciate it. We are actually going to be having a little hangout session, our second hangout session with our Patreon fam on Friday, the 13th of October. And I'm so excited. I mean, we've been having such a blast with these bonus episodes and our bonus content, and we had such a blast at our little Patreon fam hangout on Friday the 13th. Oh my gosh, we had so many good questions, so many good conversations about Disney, and just magical moments. It was so much fun. That was our second one too, and we have a blast on these hangout sessions. So thank you all for joining.
And we're figuring it out. We're making it work. I feel like the very first one we did, we had a lot of introductions and whatnot. And this past one, we were really trying to focus more on like answering more questions, and like as we're getting towards holiday season, what do you guys need to know before you come to Disneyland or Disney World? We tried to cover a little more of that.
Right, a little more tips and tricks centered, I guess. Yeah, for sure.
But we have a couple. Do you want to introduce these people, Megan? Because we have some new people been added to the Patreon family already since we dropped the last episode.
We do. We have more Patreons, and welcome everybody. Thanks so much for joining. We have Amber, Spaceship Ears, Sarah, and Boptimus Prime, which I think is one of the best usernames I've ever heard. That's amazing. Oh my gosh, we're so happy to welcome you guys to the Disney Countdown Show Patreon fam. And of course, if you want to join our magical fam, click the link in our episode notes, or you can go to patreon.com and search Disney Countdown, and that's us right there. So thank you all so much for joining, and we can't wait to just keep making some fun content for you guys.
Oh yeah, and we get a little more real, and well, I mean, I think we're
way
pretty
more
real in this episode too. Like I think we call it how it is. Like, I'm only in the Disney Countdown show will I ever call out Disney merchandising to be like, hey, you had JPEG and PNG errors in your filing. But I feel like on the bonus episodes, we just get to go on more tangents, talk about things that didn't fit into our top 10, but like the things that almost made it into the top 10. And we have some interesting conversations in there. There's also y'all, I do I do go on a lot of tangents in these episodes, and our producer Chris, who's also our game master, also, right? Chris, are you still there? Okay, so he's listening in the background. He goes through and he splices out a lot of my really long tangents, and then they put them together in extra episodes also.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you want even more Danielle tangents or even more Megan tangents, those are also in the bonus episodes. Definitely go check those out.
Yeah, we get to just elaborate a little bit more on what we're thinking, what's going on, our 11 through 15, and it's a good time. So I definitely recommend checking those out as well. Yes. You know what, Danielle? Now that we're talking about it, I feel like I wonder if we can like release one of those bonus episodes to like everyone and just have
so they get a little sneak preview of what we actually talk about.
So like everyone can see what these bonus episodes could like. I can
see Danny's face, who's our other producer.
I'm watching our producers
that's listening in, and he's just like, "What do you mean we should release one?"
Danny,
is that doable? So that we can do like a little preview and like maybe the next, because we're gonna be recording the ones that didn't make it into our myths and legends. Like, can we post that to everybody so everybody can listen to that episode and then they can decide if they want to listen to more of them and whatnot? It's a Merry Hollow Thanks Miss Miracle. All right, that sounds like a plan.
Is exciting! Yay!
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Merry Hollow Thanksmas. I've been adopting that a lot this week. Also, I've been saying that a lot.
Merry Hollow Thanksmas. I love that so much. I need to remember that one. It's so good. But yay! Okay, so you all are gonna get a chance to see what our bonus episodes and our content is about this Friday. So yeah. Enjoy, everybody, and if you want to listen to more, just a little something extra, yes, a little more magic to add to your week. And if you like what you hear, if you like what you if you like what you're listening to, you can maybe join our Patreon fam, which you get bonus content a lot more often. So, yeah. That's so exciting.
All good things.
Merry early Christmas, everybody. All good things.
Now, Megan, before you've been feeling a little under the weather.
Yes.
Is there anything to report on the Disneyland side of like what you were doing? Were you been running around like a chicken or what?
Yeah. So, I mean, what has been happening recently? We have actually, since the new season of Loki has started, we got some new characters in Avengers Campus, and I was able to go and see them for myself in their first appearance, OB and Loki from season 2. They were walking around Avengers. They're super, super cool. OB was kind of getting the lay of the land because Loki was showing him around, so I was able to go chat with them for a little bit, which was really fun. They're very... Loki's, of course, he's nice, but he is a bit pompous, a little full of himself, which is always fun to talk to him. Yeah, as is Loki self. And also, along with that, there is a low key lime pie that is dropped at Pim's Test Kitchen, which is
serious.
Oh yeah, a key lime pie that that's I don't know if that's the name of it, but I had to say that because that's exactly how
it was perfect. I hope
that
is the technical name.
I hope it is too. And it's supposed to be really good. I have not tried it myself. I'm hoping once I'm a little bit more on the mend, I can go in and sample it. But that was another fun food item that dropped for the new season. So yeah, that's been fun over there at DCA. And then I have been noticing, I've been walking by that Adventureland treehouse every single day, and I'm like, guys, when are we going to be done? It is the middle of October.
Weren't they doing water testing on it?
They're doing water testing. The water has been moving through the little, whatever was at Swiss Family Robinson before. It's those little cups that move up and around.
Yes.
And then they have the wheel itself underneath. They're moving, they're testing it, and then it looks really nice on the left side. The right side, I guess, needs a little bit more of a paint job. There's still some scaffolding up. But I'm hoping in the next maybe 3 weeks here that we'll have at least, I hope we have an opening date in the next 2 weeks. That's all I'm asking, is just a date for this
Megan,
to open.
we ask for these things, and we always, like, sometimes we get them, sometimes we don't. I'm
throwing it out there now.
They need it before holiday season, though. It is really what they need. They need it before holiday season.
They really do. I mean, they said fall. So I guess they have through November. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah. Anyway, that's mostly what I've been keeping my eye on over at the Disneyland Resort. How about Walt Disney World? What's going on over there? Have you had any fun recent trips?
Well, so remember how we talked about the food and wine thing over at the Swan and Dolphin Resort a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yes.
And I was like, oh no, this is like way too expensive. Well, guess who got invited to the media event for that thing?
The Dapper Danielle.
It was the Dapper Danielle. So by the time this, I believe it's by the time that this episode drops, is that right? When is Veterans Day? Hold on, I'm double checking when Veterans Day is.
Veterans Day is usually November 9th or 10th.
Is that when the event is? Oh my gosh, I am so bad at my social media marketing that I can't even remember. Hold on, I'm double checking when the event actually is.
It's the 10th. Oh, so you're not coming to Disneyland on the 10th then?
Well, no. I went to the media event. So the media event's already technically happened. We just talked we got a preview of the menu. And we could talk about it. So I will be posting here on Instagram upcoming information about this event because it was actually a lot more like interesting than that we kind of talked about it here on the podcast.
Yeah.
The chefs were amazing. We got to try a lot of these foods. They were all here. All the chefs that create these things are the regular head chefs and cooks and whatnot that are the regular cooks that work inside the restaurants at Swan, Dolphin, and Swan Reserve.
Yes, which are really good. I have had dinner at the Swan and it was lovely. So
yes,
that is really, really cool. So how was the food?
The food was fantastic.
Nice.
Of course, I'm more of a desserty girl when it comes to like food and wine stuff. I don't know why. I am kind of a picky eater, not like to where I'll only eat chicken nuggets. But I mean, I do like chicken nuggets is what I'm saying. And
but there are certain culinary, like, you know...
I stay away from a lot of seafood, is really what it is.
Yeah, okay. I got you.
So, like, they had really cute bay scallops, which if you did not know, bay scallops are considerably smaller compared to sea scallops. And bay scallops form in brackish water, so that half... like salt water, half swamp water that we have here in Florida. They're very common. They also had... a lot of stuff with mushrooms. I don't do mushrooms. Do you like mushrooms, Megan?
I love mushrooms. Yes.
See,
I am a foodie through and through.
You
There's
would
not
have
a lot I won't
loved
eat.
Everything on this menu. I was going through and I was like, Megan would really have enjoyed a lot of this.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big mushroom person or like any of the crazy like out there stuff. But what I did have was all really good. And the staff was fantastic. The media representation, they were all really, really sweet. And the one thing that really hit home for me personally was that this year, all of the proceeds are going to, well, not all the proceeds, but like a percentage and plus a huge donation from Marriott Bonvoy, because they are the ones that own technically Swan and Dolphin. They are doing a huge donation to Fisher House, which is to help our veterans that are in recovery from either illness or being injured, all this other stuff. So I don't know. I love that it's going back to the community, and there's a really big Fisher House location here in Lake Nona in Florida that can, I think it has enough room to hold like 62 people or something like that. So that way the military person can recover, and then they also can bring in family members too to help them in the recovery process, and they don't have to worry any of that other stuff. So this donation really helps put this is a food-based event, but it's going to help put food into the Fisher House and keep the fridges and all this stuff stocked at all times. So I think that's really, really cool that it's going back to the community. And that's awesome. One of the first big things that they're doing. So I don't know. I'm all about that. I'm all about that.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh, that's so awesome. It's really exciting. And I'm really glad that you enjoyed the preview of it. And I hope that everyone that goes has a great time. As a foodie myself, I think it's going to be an awesome event. And we did look at the menu a little bit, and it really looks like truly like a foodie paradise. So.
Oh yeah.
That's so awesome. I'm a big fan of the Swan and Dolphin. I've stayed at both hotels, and they've been absolutely amazing every time we've stayed. So,
and I did get clarity, like how we were asking in the episode, what exactly that food, like how much that ticket cost covers.
Oh yeah,
You pay that large amount. I think it's $165 is what we said.
Yes,
and it does not include the additional seminars, but it includes food and drink, and they have over 85 different food and drink booth things.
Oh my goch. That's amazing then.
So you can double dip, you can keep going and just get multiple things. And supposedly the menu changes each day for this 2-day event.
Okay.
So there's things you can try on day 1, things you can try on day 2, and it's totally different. I'll give them a little more grace. And I think it's actually a pretty cool event now that I've actually gone. And that is cool that we're getting invited to these media events, so that way we can be like a little hesitant, but actually, no, it makes sense. But you had to go and talk to them, and they can break it down for us.
yeah. No, that's so awesome. And so I'm really glad they also changed the menu with the second day, or they changed the food items. That's really cool. So you can try new stuff.
Everything changes. Like there are certain key items that are going to stay for both days,
right?
But other items, like, oh no, this is part 2 kind of thing.
That's super smart. Okay. So, you know what? I think that might be worth the price of admission for my fellow foodies.
You would totally pay for it. I think that'd be right up your alley.
Yeah, I would. I absolutely would. Definitely. Mm-hmm. And yeah, speaking of the media stuff, I did attend the D23 ball in the at the Walt Disney Studios in Burbank on Sunday.
Yes.
And that was so much fun. I'll have more, of course, on my channels about that, but that was so much fun. And well, of course, I will talk more about it on TikTok, but it actually was a really good time. We got to dress up. It was like, it's obviously so nice to be at the studios in LA. I always love being there, so it was a good time. And I'm sorry for I didn't want to trash talk it too much when it first came out, all the details, but
well, we were so unsure also. And I think some of these events also, it's whatever you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. So if you go in with a positive like attitude about it, you're going to have a positive experience.
And I always do. That is such a good point. I really always do. I always try to have, positive, not necessarily expectations, but a positive outlook on it, or
being a little more hopeful.
Predisposition. Exactly. Yeah. So we do our best. Good. Keeping the positivity going.
Yes. And, Megan, were you in the parks during Columbus Day / Indigenous People Day?
Yes, I was. Mm-hmm.
I don't know about, is that a busy time for California?
Majorly. Yeah,
majorly.
It was nuts. Yes.
Yeah, we were. You couldn't even walk. So it was ridiculously crazy that when I went to Hollywood Studios, and this was actually it was the Tuesday after the holiday.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it was the day after the holiday, but because Mickey, we had oh my gosh, I'm losing my words all of a sudden. It's not, I almost said it was a very Merry Christmas party. It's not. It is a Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party.
So scary. Yeah.
We had a Halloween party on Columbus Day, and then we also had a Halloween party the day afterwards. And so Hollywood Studios, Epcot, and Animal Kingdom were slammed because nobody wanted to pay for a ticket to Magic Kingdom because you would get kicked out earlier.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Yeah. And it's been a hot mess. So, and I think somebody was joking that there's like a fall break now for some of our northern schools.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, fall break. Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of New York and New Jersey coming on in. Mm-hmm. And y'all, again, I know a lot of you listen to us from New Jersey, and I love you dearly. But there were a couple times where it felt like I was in a New York, New Jersey themed sitcom while I was sitting there in Hollywood Studios, and this one guy gets on the phone and he's yelling through the phone because he's lost his wife. She's sitting on a bench across from him and saying, "I can see you, Harry." And he's like, "Well, I can't see you, woman." And I don't know. It just, I was sitting there. I was like, okay, are they filming a TikTok like skit? Because
is this real?
Is this real life? But no, it was legit real life. And oh my gosh, it was so funny just sit and people watch during this holiday weekend. I did not ride any rides. I literally just walked around, went into the stores, and just ate some food, went and said hi to my cast member friends, and ran into a ton of people. But I did not ride rides because it was so crazy. And yes, it was very, very amusing to watch people. And you could pinpoint where people were from just because the accents were so thick.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Wow. No, I love like seeing the different I guess cultures and the way people interact with each other at the parks. That is quite funny. We did have something similar. We don't have necessarily like a lot of accents going because we had people from Arizona with fall break coming to California. Same with Utah.
Really?
So yeah. So that's that. Last week I think I looked it up. I googled it, and Arizona's fall break was the 2nd to the 6th. So last week or 2 weeks ago, was crazy. And then yeah, I think people are starting to get more fall breaks in October around there. So October itself is like, it's crazy over here right now, really busy. And definitely for Indigenous Peoples Day, I was like, oof, I feel so sorry for these people. Like it is nuts. So, yeah, that's just October for you. I feel like for Disneyland Resort, Halloween time is very, very popular.
Yeah, and I don't know, because we used to tell people all the time that October was a slow month. And I just don't feel like that's the case anymore.
No, that might have been probably mid like 2010s. But ever since they really started going all out with Halloween, changing the overlays have gotten a lot more popular. And obviously Oogie Boogie Bash, it has gotten real crazy. So I don't recommend October to anyone unless they really want to be in the heart of Halloween season. I always say go September. Just go and see it early on. You know, go early September, and then it may be
hotter.
2 weeks.
The weather might be crazier.
It might be hotter, right. But October can be hot too. It's still like, you know, in the 80s over here.
That's true.
It gets up to that, and then I love the 2 weeks in between the holidays. I love November 1st to like the 9th. Oh, those 2 weeks are just. I love them. I know there's like nothing. They're like trying to put up holiday decorations in the meantime, but it's just not crowded at all, and I love it.
Well, speaking of holiday decorations, we have some Disney news that we need to talk about, and we're going to cover that in our news segment. So I think it's time for some Disney news.
We interrupt our program to bring you this
Disney news. Our first topic of conversation is breaking news. Park hopping is returning to Walt Disney World Resort and no longer having to wait until 2 p.m.
Woo!
This is magical.
Yes,
magical.
That's huge for you guys. I know.
Now,
Big
I think
time.
Disney is being very smart. It is not happening immediately. And I know a lot of people, I can only imagine this news breaking and how many cast members are dealing with guests that are coming up to the front gates today and are like, oh, but it says here on Disney Parks blog that we can park hop. Well, you have to read the caption. It doesn't begin until January 9th of 2024. That's when it happens. So they are waiting until after the holiday season. Again,
and
I do
after
think
the
that was
marathon.
a smart move. Yes, after the marathon.
Yep.
And yeah, so we're getting to it's coming. It is on the way. That's all we wanted.
There are people that have been wanting this for so long over in World. I know that for a fact, and I'm very happy for you guys. That's really exciting. Because ours is 11 a.m., and we can walk between our parks, so that's really cool. So the fact that you can now do it before 2 p.m., which is so late to me, like, whoa, is really awesome. So congratulations, and I'm happy for you. And starting in, what is that, 3 months from now? Almost 3 months?
Yeah, January 9th.
Yep. Hooray!
Yes, I know a lot of our live streaming and blogger friends are very excited about this because they like to rope drop. They go in, do one thing, and then they'll peace out. So they'll be ready to go to the next park within less than an hour.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so some of them I think are already planning doing the 4 parks in one day here at Walt Disney World. And that is so now
much easier.
It's such a more feasible option. Or even those people that there for the longest time, people were doing, 4, 5, 6 parks in one day?
So going from World to Land?
Yes, and it's a feasible option again. So if you're one of those crazy people that want to do a coast-to-coast, all-in-one-day thing, by all means, it can happen now. And it's going to be much more easily accessible, and you can start planning for it in January.
That's way easier. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's a good idea for when I go over there. Maybe on my last day, I'll be like, let's do the challenge. 6-park challenge.
Honestly, you totally could.
All right. Oh, man. Well, speaking of the parks over here.
Some not so great news for you.
Nope. While we were sleeping, we woke up to price increases at the Disneyland Resort, which we're very, very used to in California. I just didn't think this was the time. But apparently Disneyland said, yeah, perfect timing. So, Yeah, we have ticket increases, ticket price increases. We have parking increases, which I think is absolutely absurd. That is the one thing I am actually like burning in my gut about, because that money, I understand that money does not go to Disney in any sense. It goes to the city of Anaheim. So I don't know if that was the city of Anaheim's call. But yeah, that money does not go to Disney. And then we also have Genie Plus price increases and Magic Keys, which is a big deal because that happened after renewals had started for this year. So I was able to renew my Magic Key with the old price, which was $15.99 for the Inspire Key, the top key with free parking. However, now it is $50 more, so it's $16.49 starting, which is, I know we're a week's past, but it is $16.49 from now on, until, of course, another price increase, which is a little bit crazy.
Since you renewed, are you locked into the old price until next year?
No.
Really?
From now on, it is $16.49 for future renewals. Yeah. Did you guys have a lock-in price for yours?
I think, well, once the whole weirdness was happening with the Panini, I thought it was that if you renewed before the price increase, you were locked into that same payment for the rest of the year. Yeah. And then you were
yeah, okay, you mean monthly payments?
Yeah. So if you did the monthly payments.
Yes, you're locked
now
in.
if you pay in lump sum, then you've already paid that
good.
And you're good.
Right.
But yeah. That's fine.
And I do lump sum because I like to pay it off on my terms. I do not want another like monthly finance thing, so I just do lump sum.
Smart.
I think if you did start the monthly payments before this increase, you are locked in at the old price. So you should be fine. I'm going to do a little research on that. You should be okay. But anyways, it's the timing of it is a little bit crazy to me. They don't have Magic Keys to sell right now. It's all for renewals.
Yes.
They don't have a SoCal ticket price or anything like for the 3 days that sometimes they have over summer, which they might release actually, because usually when they do the uptick in prices or there is like a little price difference, they will start to introduce another SoCal or California deal. So maybe that's coming, but it's wild to me. Parking, like $35 to park blows my mind. Like, how? What?
Yeah.
That just screams inflation to me. However, I do understand that, like, honestly, you guys, the parks, this is where Disney is making their money, and they are not doing well. Like, they're just not with their stocks or anything, so they need money, and this was a way to do it. So there was a big increase actually with the higher tiered prices. They kept the tier 0 the same, so whenever there's a high value day, it is 104. That remained the same, but the top tiers, like tier 6, it is top tier 6. That means it's almost $200 to get into Disneyland, one park only. That
for like peak holiday for like Christmas?
For peak holiday for Christmas, I think for New Year's or something like that. Yeah. It's $194 to get in to one park and tack on $65. That's also the other increase, is the park hopper price increased to $65. So you tack on that price if you want to go to California Adventure. That is over $250. Almost $300 to get into
for one peak holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
crazy.
No, and that's
crazy.
That's where you would almost be crazy not to have an annual pass, but Disney's just not having it as an option.
It's not an option right now. Yeah, and I don't think it's going to open up until 2024. So wild. It's just getting increasingly more expensive to go to Disneyland. I mean, in California prices have always been higher than World's, but it's even more now. Yay.
Goodness.
I know.
Goodness. And
while we were sleeping,
and I was talking, I don't know, that's a whole nother tangent for another time that I can go on a rant about. I was talking with who is it? Somebody that works in the merchandising side, and how somebody when these companies come forward and like, hey, this is what we would sell it as for like your baseline, right? And then Disney's like, oh, but we can sell it for more because we're Disney. Yeah, but no, if you don't want it to go to the outlets, you need to make it at a more reasonable price. So if you want people to come and you want people to buy your merchandise, you need to make it a more reasonable price. There's a whole science and statistic and economics thing that we could get into with that. And oh gosh, I feel like that'd be a whole episode for another time.
I mean, yeah, it's truly there's a reason that these things have been going to warehouses and going to Company D and all these places. It's because it's too dang expensive. I refuse to pay $50 for a Starbucks cup. Like, I'm not going to do it. And I know for a fact that those are going to end up at Company D in the next couple months. They're sitting right now at the $30 like little price, right? The discount price that they have. The matte black, the gold, the silver, and the berry colors are all $30 right now. So that's $20 less than they were before. So they're at a discount.
And they're letting you stack annual pass holder discounts on top of it.
Yes, they are. Of course. Yes, all discounts apply, right?
Yes.
And they just added the D100 Finale Starbucks cup, which is very pretty. I do like it and I do want it, but I am not paying $50 for it. So guess what? They're all sitting there. No one's buying them. They're all sitting at Starbucks. They're sitting in the Emporium, and that's
because they know all the locals are going to wait, and they're going
to wait.
They're not going to get it.
No. Yeah. So the merch is just like it's filling up a little bit over in the warehouses, and that's because people just don't want to pay those outrageous prices, because that's what they are. They're outrageous.
Or they're not making what people want either. So again, if you are somebody that works at Disney and you are in charge of any of the merchandising stuffs,
like
you can reach out to me and Megan, and we will come and join a whole Zoom call, and we will give you what the people are asking for and the opinions and all the other statistics. We will gladly do that for you.
I would love to help. So yes. I'm available 24/7.
Well, on a more lighter note.
On a lighter note, yes.
The holiday lights are starting to appear at certain locations. I don't know if they're appearing over there at Disneyland yet, Megan. Have you noticed any?
No.
No?
Because our Halloween decorations are everywhere. So
I mean, that's true.
Not yet, yeah.
Where Disney World property is much, much bigger, so we got to start sooner than later.
I know.
And so where I saw them here recently is that they have started putting out the Christmas lights into the hedges over in Hollywood Studios, because they're getting ready for Jollywood. Again, Hollywood Studios is going to be the place for holiday decor, lighting, party, all this other stuff for Disney World. It's going to be on Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Excited.
Yep.
And the next place that's going to start receiving decor earlier is going to be Disney Springs also. Yes. And I've even been talking about the merchandise because a lot of people, I did a video, and it's still trending right now, and I'm kind of shocked about it because I'm not the merchandise girly. Megan, you cover more of the merchandise than I do.
Hey, you know what? Whatever works.
Right?
Merch is a big deal, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It is a big deal. And if you are looking for the holiday merchandise in October, a lot of the other parks are not going to get the full collections yet, because they are still, because of the Halloween decor, number one. And Magic Kingdom, even though they would get a lot of it first, because there is a Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party on November 1st, they cannot do a store changeover and full merchandise until then, and they just don't have room right now. So World of Disney at Disney Springs is currently getting all the collections first, and some of the other key stores like Ever After Jewelry Company, Marketplace Co-op, and Disney Style, some key items are scattered around, but they should mostly all be located in Disney Springs.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's really exciting. Yay.
Yes.
Holidays.
Again, but we say it a lot here on this episode, we'll take what we can get.
We'll take what we can get. That's right. I'm actually really excited for Christmas and the holidays and all good stuff. Yeah. I love Halloween. Don't get me wrong.
Yes. But somebody commented that on one of my videos saying, like, Danielle, I can't tell if you're more excited about Halloween than you are Christmas, or Christmas than you are Halloween. I'm like, I'm allowed to like both. Like,
we can like both. Yes.
I can get excited about the Christmas stuff coming, but I also have a special place in my heart for my spoopy glittery ghosts. Yes.
Yeah. I know. I love Halloween. I look forward to it every year. But Christmas, the holidays, they just have my heart at Disney. I'm sorry. It's an inch above Halloween for me on the list. It's still sitting at the top. So
now, before we go any further, speaking of spooky season and all that good stuff, we have Chris, our producer, is creeping back into the session right now, and he has a very spooky game for us. Chris, are you there?
I am.
I definitely think you need a spookier soundtrack though for when you're entering in for now that we're in the Halloween season.
Oh, I have this one too.
Oh,
yes. I love that one.
Season.
Yep.
So we're going to play a new game. This one's called Oh, the Horror.
Ooh.
So in anticipation for the spooky season, I've rewritten some synopsises for famous Disney movies and scarified them. I'll read them, and you'll let me know if you can figure out what they are. Just chime in if you know. You have a bunch to go through, and we'll see if we can get through them all. The first one's a little easier, and they get progressively... I'm not sure if they get progressively harder, but they're all interesting.
Again, Chris, you say this, and usually we're horribly wrong. So this could go either one or two ways.
One of two ways. So let's do the first one.
Do we raise our hand if we know it, or like?
Just raise your hand, say "Ooh, I know it" or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a dark and eerie retelling of a classic tale, a young girl hunted by an evil queen seeks refuge with a group of sinister forest dwellers as she uncovers a terrifying secret about her past.
Ding, ding, ding.
What do you think it is?
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
That'd be right.
Scare White and the Seven... No, never mind. I tried.
So here's the next one. A cursed figurine must confront his own descent into darkness and the malevolent intention... Why did I write it like that? In the malevolent intentions of those who seek to control him.
One
more time. A cursed figurine must confront his own descent into darkness and the malevolent intentions of those who seek to control him.
I think I know it.
What do you think?
Is it Pinocchio?
It is Pinocchio.
Woohoo! Hey.
You know, that movie does not need to be scarified. That is already a terrifying
It's already
movie.
traumatizing. I still got PTSD from Pinocchio.
Oh, yes. In the live action version that released, it's not good, but it is scary.
I don't know if I can watch it, to be honest. I haven't seen it yet.
You're not missing much.
Okay,
Wasn't
that's
there one
what
with
I've
Jonathan
heard.
Taylor Thomas as well?
It had amazing actors in it. Amazing actors.
I don't know if the newest one had Jonathan Taylor Thomas, but I think there was one that had Jonathan Taylor, JTT as I call him.
I don't remember.
I
You
would
are bad
call
with
him
the
that if he was
actors'
around.
names. We learned that from a couple episodes ago.
He was from what is that? Home Improvement. He was like
Maybe.
Anyway,
yeah.
everyone is screaming that you guys don't know who Jonathan Taylor Thomas is.
I know who it is. I'm just
Stop making me look bad, Chris.
If I saw a picture, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, that guy." But yeah.
Anyway, here we go. Moving on to the next one. A desperate young man stumbles upon a long-imprisoned sinister entity, unleashing a wave of terror and chaos in a twisted nightmare.
Ding, ding, ding.
What do you think?
That was the most questioning ding, ding, ding I've ever done. Aladdin?
Aladdin is correct.
Nice. Well done.
Thank you.
Very good. So let's keep it moving. We have three more. An ancient enchantment transforms a once thriving kingdom into a realm of fear, where two siblings must confront their darkest fears and unravel the chilling mystery to save their people.
I know it.
What do you think?
Ding, ding, ding. Is it Frozen?
It is Frozen. Chilling.
Woo!
I added that in there.
Chilling.
All right, this one I had a lot of fun with.
Oh. Concerning.
Yes. Ominous. I love it. An ominous disease spreads throughout the city, driving its inhabitants to become feral creatures, as a courageous hero races against time to uncover the sinister conspiracy behind the epidemic and confront the looming nightmare.
I know it. I think.
I love that. I know it. I love
See,
both of
the
you.
question.
I think I know it.
It's okay.
Is-
What do you think?
Wait. Okay.
What do you think it
Beauty
is,
and the
Megan?
Beast?
Beauty and the Beast is wrong.
No.
I I think it's Meet the Robinsons.
Meet the Robinsons is also wrong.
Okay, hold on. Repeat it again.
Yeah, one more time. Okay.
And just for fun, if you want to try to figure it out. Okay. An ominous disease spreads throughout the city, driving its inhabitants to become feral creatures. As a courageous hero races against time to uncover the sinister conspiracy behind the epidemic and confront the looming nightmare.
Is it Zootopia?
It is.
Oh, yay!
Ah, okay, I get it.
Because that's actually kind of dark. That's a little bit like
it
definitely
is.
more actually a sinister
like biowarfare. I don't know. I think what was throwing me off about that one, it was like racing against time, and for some reason I thought like time travel, and that's why I went to Meet the Robinsons.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I get that.
Here's the last one. A family is hunted down and captured by a mysterious, relentless antagonist who seeks to exploit them for a dark and sinister agenda, forcing them into a nightmarish battle for survival.
Family?
A family, interesting.
A family.
Is the mom alive in this family? That cuts down a lot of them. Well, not a lot of them, actually.
I'm not going to answer that, but the mom is part of this family, so I guess I did answer it.
So the mom's not dead. That should really cut down our options, Megan.
Is it Incredibles?
It is.
Oh, sick!
As we're trying to think of movies where you don't have a parent that's dead or like both parents that are dead, which movie
I know
has all
which
the parents?
I just thought of that scene where they are, like all taken, like obviously everyone but Mr. Incredible is captured.
Yes.
But, yeah.
But that was it. That was the horror.
I love that. That was fun. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, that was a good spooky game. That was
Very
good.
Yes, on theme for Halloween.
Yeah,
Love it. All right, Danielle, is it time now for our 1 through 5 of Disney Parks Miss? Okay.
Yes,
y'all, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to talk about these.
we gather around the imaginary campfire again as we talk about these myths and legends and rumors, fake Disney facts, things that may be true, things that may be not, but maybe some people believe these things. Let's go ahead and break into them. Now, Megan, I started first last time, so I think you should start first this time.
Yes, I can do that. Let me recap my 10 through 6 really quick.
Smart.
So my first one was not technically a Disney Parks one, if you remember. It is a quote, and it's, "If you can dream it, you can do it." A lot of people believe that was Walt Disney who said that, but it was actually Mr. Fitzgerald. I believe his first name was Tom. Yes. And he was the one that coined that term, and people attribute it to Walt Disney. However, it is not his quote. And number 9 was that the pirate schools, this was actually a unsolved mystery as of last week, that one of the pirate skulls that sits above the headboard in the scene at Disneyland is a real human skull. Because a lot of the bones, actually most of the bones that were put into the ride when it first opened were actually real, taken from UCLA. And the myth is that is still a real skull above the headboard. I don't know if that's true. Over the years, I've had people tell me different information, different answers, so I still don't know if that's true. Number 8 was the Disney Dome. And I think Danielle and I both had this in our 10 through 6. That's the Disneyland or Disney World also has a dome above it, or can go over it to keep out bad weather. That is not true. And then number 7 was Walt Disney is frozen under the castle. Y'all, come on, that's not true. He is resting peacefully in a cemetery. And number 6 was the castle can be dismantled in case of a large hurricane coming through, and that is also not true because that's silly. So anyway, there's my 10 through 6. My number 5 was is that cast members can't tell you no. That the myth is the cast member cannot tell you no, and that is a full-blown myth. Yes, they can tell you no if you're being an absolute idiot, or if you want something that you feel like you're entitled to but you're definitely not, like a lightning lane that you didn't purchase, or I don't know, a special magic treatment that you've seen on social media that you think you're just entitled to, but that was actually just something the cast member did out of the kindness of their heart some other time. So, you know what? Cast members can tell you no. They should tell you no if you're being mean. And just know that you're not going to get a yes every time. So there you go. There's my myth number 5.
I just would like to say amen. And Chris, if you can bump up the volume so the people in the back can hear it as well. There's nothing else to really add into that. And I think as somebody that was a merchandise coordinator, because a lot of the issues happened in merchandise.
Yes.
I cannot tell you how shocked people were when I told them no. And people would be like, well, I'm going to go to your leadership. And I'm like, I can call her up right now. And she's going to laugh at your face over the phone because you are arguing with me. Yep. Oh, gosh. Yes. Cast members have the power to tell you no. We will tell you no. And there are so many things. I don't know. I feel like that ties into rules also, Megan.
Rules too, exactly. Yes.
Right.
If you feel like you can break the rules, if you feel like you are above the rules for some reason, no. That's just, and no is a complete sentence. So
like safety things are in place for a reason. And oh gosh, here's another random tangent. Shout out to my monorail fam. Love you, monorail fam, here at Magic Kingdom, and they've had a lot of incidences here recently, and well, of just people not realizing how dangerous the monorail is, and like the cast members can yell at you, they can tell you no, they can trespass you if you. One of the big things that happened here recently is that people have been trying to sit on those rails waiting for the monorail to come into the station. But people don't realize that if they fall and they tumble towards that track is electrocuted at all times.
Oh,
there are 6,000 volts of electricity going through that railing at all times, and they will not be able to turn it off fast enough before you are barbecued.
Oh, that's crazy.
So that's why they tell you to take your kids off your shoulders before you go and wait for the monorail. Because if your kid falls off and they go towards that track, they cannot e-stop it fast enough to be able to cut electricity.
That is so horrifying. Oh my gosh. That's similar to the Animal Kingdom Kilimanjaro Safari secret that we can't talk about on this podcast.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. So it's just rules, and saying no is put there for a reason, for your safety, and people just don't understand that. So Megan, that is a fantastic point that you bring up. That's a really good one.
That is, I had to put it in there just in case anyone was thinking about it.
Yeah.
Just no. They can tell you no. As they should sometimes. So, yeah. Anyways, Danielle, what was your 10 through 6 and then your number 5?
My 10 through 6, my number 10 was that Disney Dome that we talked about, and it can apply to Disney World or Disneyland. There's two different domes. And then number 9 is my Walt Disney World castle can retract into the ground for a hurricane, which is not true. Number 8 was that if you don't believe that, maybe in the 70s and 80s, you thought that Walt Disney World castle was a missile silo. That is also not true.
That's right.
Good times.
Wowzers.
And then number 7 was the George the Ghost haunts the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yes, that's a classic good ghost story when it comes to one of the main attractions.
Yep.
And we also don't know if that's real or not, but a lot of cast members still acknowledge George the Ghost over there at Pirates of the Caribbean here at Walt Disney World. And number 6 being that the myth that it's okay to bring your deceased loved one's ashes to Disney properties, and that it's okay to go ahead and scatter grandma around wherever you want. That is not okay. That is definitely a myth.
No, do not do that. Because they'll just get sucked up into a vacuum. Don't do
gosh. Dapper Mom actually had a rant. She was listening to the podcast, right? So as of right now, Dapper Mom is still a cast member. She's a boat driver over at Port Orleans, or not Port Orleans, over behind Epcot. And actually just a couple months ago, they had an incident where it was at night, and it was one of the last rotations, and somebody must have tried to dump Grandma out of the front window. And Grandma did not go into the water. Instead, it was humid that night, so Grandma stuck to the side of the boat.
Oh my
of the giant friendship
boat.
No way. And
no way.
It was late at night that the cast members the boats aren't lit if they're moving, so the lights inside are off. So maybe you didn't see it. And I can only imagine they were in the front of the boat and the backs are open. So I can only imagine that somebody got like random dust in their mouth and they realized it was somebody.
Oh, that is just horrifying.
Oh, I know. And then my mom was opening the next morning with a veteran who is he's been with the Disney company for a really long time. And mom's looking at the boat and she's like, why is it so dusty? And
oh my God.
The boat captain that's there, he's like, Danette, don't touch it. Wait. We got to get somebody out here to document this, that it was here, because they could see it in broad daylight now. And they confirmed that, yes, if somebody tried to dump grandma over the side and grandma did not get dusted back into the water. Instead, they had to wipe it down with rags, and those rags had to go into a landfill bin. So they did not go to normal laundry.
Well, there you go. All the more reason, don't be that person, because she's going to go to a landfill. Or in someone's mouth, apparently. Like,
in the back of
in the back of a boat.
Lake over there by the boardwalk.
What are these people thinking? Oh my gosh,
know.
That is terrible. Wow.
Terrifying.
So
good times, good random tangent before I get into my number 5.
Yeah.
And so I was debating whether or not to talk about this one. And I don't know if you remember this like story back in 2018, 2019, Megan. Mm-hmm. But this was hot Disney news.
Okay.
Of the myth of Buzzy the animatronic from Aquarium Command in the Life Pavilion, the abandoned Life Pavilion that's been shut down since 2008, that he was stolen. And
I do remember this. Yeah.
You remember this? This was like really, this was like in like the it news in 2019 before we shut down for the pandemic. Yeah. And they did arrest someone. They were not convicted guilty after their whole trial and case. But he was arrested because he was a cast member, an ex-cast member, and he stole other clothing and merchandise. And he was the last person caught with Buzzy's clothing. What the animatronic wore. Mm-hmm. And still to this day, nobody knows if he is actually stolen or if he has been found. It is still a legend that he is out there, either maybe in one piece or in multiple pieces, and that he was sold on the black market. There was a bounty on him, I believe, somewhere over like $600,000.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a lot.
I do remember that story. That was like a big mystery during that time.
And it's still a big mystery to this day.
Yeah.
The clothing was here, I got my little notes right here. So the Buzzy clothing went missing in August of 2018. Mm-hmm. The person that supposedly was urban exploring when they really shouldn't have been. Explorer allegedly had photos of the missing clothing, the guy that was arrested, and that explorer received $30,000 via PayPal for the clothing. And one of the clothing was sold to a basketball player, a pro basketball player. He didn't know they were stolen. So he did end up giving it back to Disney. So the clothes have been recovered because of the Orange County incidents and whatnot, the Orange County incidences. And but nobody knows where the animatronic is, and Disney has not confirmed if the animatronic was ever found.
That is so crazy. Yeah, I do remember that story. Well, I hope he's okay. The poor little animatronic just sitting there all innocently and gets stolen, and we don't know if he's in a whole piece or if he's in multiple pieces. So
and the wonders of Life Pavilion, for a while, a lot of urban explorers were breaking into it. It was like becoming a game of who could not get caught. Mm-hmm. And it was getting ridiculous. So finally, Disney actually had the animatronic tagged for it not to be destroyed. And one of the urban explorers actually was able to go and find this tag and took video of this tag from Disney Archive saying to be moved. Shortly after that is when this incident started happening of like, the clothes and stuff went missing.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Wow.
So interesting. But that's my number 5.
That's a good one. I totally forgot about that. Wow.
The myth of is he busy is still out there somewhere.
Is he out there? I hope so. Somewhere. That is so crazy. What a mystery. Jeez. All right. Well, number 4 for me is a little more on the spooky side, and that's that there are real graves at the Haunted Mansion. People believe that
the Disneyland one, correct?
The Disneyland, yes. That these are real graves with real people underneath, and I'm here to tell you that that is incorrect. That is obviously definitely makes it a little more spooky, doesn't it? But no, there are not real people who are underneath the ground at the Haunted Mansion. The Haunted Mansion at Disneyland it's a fascinating backstory that I learned about very recently from behind the attraction on Disney Plus. It was just a house that stood there for about 10 years in the park. People were like, what is this? What is it going to be? I don't know. So if you can imagine our impatience with just a ride that's been taking a year.
With Swiss Family Treehouse over in Disneyland.
That's taken a year longer than we thought. Imagine something standing there for 10 years and you're like, what is this? Especially a big old mansion like that.
Good point.
But there were no real people buried there during that time. So don't worry. They are all fake. And I do love the little punny tombstones that they have over on the backside in the queue. That's one of my favorite parts. But there are no real bodies under there. So rest assured.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But yes, that is that's something also here at Walt Disney World. What was it? We have in the extended queue, like how we got our queue redone, and you kind of walk through, and there is one grave. Actually, the video went viral of the girl jumping into that grave.
I did see that,
and I made a video response to that video and explained how that gravestone is in remembrance of in reverence of the Imagineer that retired. Yes. But he and his wife were brutally murdered while they were on vacation.
In cold blood, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that gravestone is in remembrance of them.
Yes.
But people thought in the comments that he was actually buried there. No, he is not buried there. Just the marker is in remembrance of him. So just to clarify.
Yes, it's a memoriam. Yes, which is nice that they put that in there because that was an absolutely tragic occurrence. So
yes.
But yeah, I remember that video, Danielle, and I'm glad you did a response to that because that was bad.
Oh, that was, and people weren't understanding. Like a lot of people were making responses to that, being like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that," and nobody was explaining why you shouldn't do that. And I gave them more the meat and potatoes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, no, that's good.
Oh, goodness.
Yes.
Well, this legend is amongst a very small group of cast members, and this is a legend that was taught to me.
Ooh, okay.
Back when I worked at the Caribbean Beach Resort here at Walt Disney World. Okay. So imagine little small Danielle, right? So this is your spooky story time. Imagine small little Danielle. She's a wee 18-year-old. She's very young and naive to the world, and I'm sitting there. Where I'm a boat cleaner, so I'm also working in recreation, renting out the equipment, the bikes, the pontoon boats, the little sea racers, and they also have bass fishing excursions across Walt Disney World property. They also have it available over at the Caribbean Beach Resort. But bass like to hide in dark areas, so they usually are like near the dock areas. They are near more shaded areas or wherever they can find like a coral reef system kind of to hide, right? Well, Caribbean Beach was weird that they would go out to the very center where there's no cover, there's no protection or anything, and the little sonar that they use to be able to find fish because they want their guests to be able to catch something, they are right there in the very center, and it doesn't make sense of like naturally why you would be there unless something is underneath the water. So I was talking with a boat fisherman, and we noticed this occurrence, and we were talking with the boat fisherman, and he was explaining, oh yeah, there's a car out there.
Oh.
And I was like,
oh,
what do you mean there's a car out there? And he says the legend is that is a man-made lake. And when they were scooping out all the lake and and all the lake, all the debris, and getting ready to pour water into it, the guy in charge of the digging company rolled down all the windows and pushed his car into where the lake was going to be and said, fill her up, because he wanted to collect insurance money on it. And he wanted to go get a new car.
Oh, okay. That's one way to do that.
Since the windows are down, that's where all the bass fish hide out, because they're going in and out of this car from
their little home.
The 80s, 90s.
That's so crazy. Wow. It's their little bass home.
It is a little bass home. So it is a legend. I still need to confirm this with current bass fishermen, or if maybe they were just pulling my leg when I was younger. I don't know. But it's one of those legends that has stuck with me after all these years. Just like it keeps thinking in my mind. I'm like, is that car still there? Is that really a car? And so that's the legend of the Caribbean Beach Lake.
Very, very interesting. Okay. Okay. I'll think of that when I'm passing by.
I know. And it makes you think, like, okay, if there is really a car in there, nothing else is in the car, right?
Yeah, no, you're right.
That's where mine went
just
too.
The vehicle. I know. Yeah, that's where my mind went when you said car.
Or like if the fisherman guides know that it is a car, have they told anybody that works for Disney to be like, hey, maybe you should like check this out. Is this like a cold case from years ago that nobody's addressed?
Yeah. Is this an unsolved like case?
I don't know.
Does anybody know? I really hope that it's just a car and it was just thrown in for insurance money.
It's one of those legends and stories I've been afraid to make a video about, because I don't want it to go viral. And I don't want it to be horribly wrong, or maybe it be horribly correct. So Disney podcast fam, if you can pass this along to somebody that works at Disney that can like subtly investigate it, like just letting you know.
Yeah. Just a little hint, maybe.
Hint.
Maybe if someone can check it out for me, that'd be great.
That'd be great.
Just
so
secretly.
that's my legend. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Fascinating. All right. So my number 3 is definitely a little more, I don't know, it's more generic, and I think it's more for Disneyland. I guess it could be for World too. And it's that when you yell, Andy's coming, that the Toy Story characters will fall to the ground. Now, I know that this was something that actually did occur many, many years ago.
Many years ago.
This was when social media wasn't a thing, and or was just not what it is today. And things wouldn't get around so quickly, and people wouldn't ruin things for other people. But if you do this today, you're going to look like an absolute fool, because no, they will not fall to the ground for you. And because they're in costume, y'all. They have, not to burst your bubble or anything, but there are people in there, and that's a head that they got to put on. And no, they are not going to just fall to the ground and get back up for you. Sorry to say. So it was a thing. But
it was.
That when the social media spread it around and people started taking advantage of it and overdoing it, I guess it's just it ruined it for everyone. So no, do not say that around Toy Story characters.
And we've talked about this before, that we call them the blueberries. That's our nickname for them here at Walt Disney World, because our character attendants wear blue and yours wear like usually the red vests.
Yeah.
They will yell at you. They will yell back at you.
No,
no, Andy is not on the way. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll tell you no. That's not true. So
that's not true. And it happens a lot here in Toy Story Land.
I bet, yeah.
When the toys are like walking out. And I think it's because that meme, that reference went viral on the non-Disney side of the internet also.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
And it retrends like, I don't know, maybe every 6 months to a year.
I think so. Yeah.
That's why that myth is still alive.
'Tis a myth, y'all. Don't do that, please. You'll look like a fool.
Yes. Just for the safety of our cast and everybody else around them, because maybe the cast member can't see what's behind them, and most of the time they can't. What if they crush a kid in the process?
Yeah, it's a big old costume, so can't do that. No.
Yeah, too much paperwork. Yep.
What's your number 3, Danielle?
My number 3 See, I'm giving a lot of the Disney World legends in this episode.
I love that. Yeah, that's good.
So my number 3 is that if you are looking at a map, right, or maybe you're looking at My Disney Experience, and you zoom in between the Contemporary Resort and the Wilderness Lodge where the cabins are, right? Mm-hmm. If you zoom in, there is an island there. It is unnamed. It is not the Discovery Island. It is a small little island in between. Mm-hmm. That, when they were creating the connection between Bay Lake to Seven Seas Lagoon, Seven Seas Lagoon is man-made, Bay Lake is natural. So that island is supposedly natural. Yeah. When they were dredging that out, and this did it start happening? Was ground broken before Disney passed? I'm double checking my facts, actually.
Did it start before 67?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Okay. But in the original plans, that island was supposed to be turned into a private treehouse home for the Disney family.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And when you pass by, still to this day, there is supposedly plumbing and electricity that's put to that island. And there is still... Oh, my goodness. I don't know if you saw that. The little balloons that just popped up. The iOS features and the updates on my camera. That was funny. Anyway. Oh gosh, I got lost track of what I was saying because I was distracted by the balloons that randomly popped up.
Plumbing and electricity.
Oh, there's plumbing and electricity put out there to the island, and when you still pass by still today, there is an electrical box that's just sitting there, and you can see it between those trees if you flash a light up into it, and I've actually seen this electric box.
Oh, wow.
And there's nothing ever put out there. There is lights at the very end of the island to make sure that the boats don't hit the island or get too close. Mm-hmm. But there is no reason why a full electrical system should be out there. But there's a box out there.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's the legend, is that there was supposed to be a private home built out there, or a little like, kind of like how there's the Walt's apartment above the firehouse in Disneyland. It was supposed to be a private island for the Disney family when it was being built.
I did not know that. That's crazy and really cool. Nice. Yeah. I need to look for that because I did not know that was a thing over there. I could look for that next time.
You kind of have to rent a pontoon and then
to
kind of know where you're looking at.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Nice. I love it.
Thank you.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So moving on to number 2.
Yes.
This one is food related, and I don't know if this is like a recent myth or it just popped up, if it popped up years ago, but it's rumored that the turkey leg served at both Disneyland and Walt Disney World is actually emu. Emu meat. And I'm here to tell you that is very, very, very false. The turkey leg is actually turkey. It's the dark meat of a turkey. And if it were a true emu, I think they would disclose that information. But no, they are not
it would have also been
emus
way bigger
for turkey leg. And emus are huge. They're huge. They're like almost the size of ostriches. So no, you are not eating emu meat when you order a turkey leg. Trust me. So don't worry.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I can't even think of the turkey legs because I just don't like them. We talked about this in the food episode too, of how much we dislike it.
Oh my god, I had to review it for a video when the Halloween food came out because they made like a buffalo turkey leg or something like that, and
didn't Eric say he liked that one?
Yes, he did. He did like that one, and I get it. Maybe it's like a giant chicken wing and the buffalo sauce makes it taste good. It's fine. But like when you unwrap it, the grease gets on your hands and you're trying to like figure out the juices and like the little pieces of skin on the outside. I can't do it. I'm sorry. It's just, it grosses me out. But honestly, if you like it, go for it. I'm not going to judge you.
To each their own.
It's just not for me. To each their own. That's right. So yeah, turkey legs are turkey meat. Everybody.
Weird.
I know. Yeah. So
well, my number 2. I don't know. Yes. I'm getting into a lot of these obscure like black market internet things, but number 2.
So I cover the general ones, and you cover the The deep dives.
The deep, obscure ones.
Yes.
So back before the internet was like a big thing, right? We're talking 70s, or not 70s, actually 80s. There supposedly was a thread of somebody on the black market claiming that they would pay upwards and over $250,000 for Madame Leota's head.
Oh my God.
So here at Walt Disney World, I'm sure there have been attempts over in Disneyland also for somebody jumping out of the attraction and trying to get Madame Leota. There have been actually multiple attempts here at Walt Disney World, to the point where people don't realize that Madame Leota's pedestal, like where the table's at, her head's floating, the chair, there is a drop between the ride track and that animatronic bit right there. So somebody walked out, jumped, thinking they could make it, and they fell straight down.
Oh my gosh.
And I think they actually ended up breaking both of their legs, if I remember the story correctly.
Oh, so it was bad. Wow.
So, but this person screaming out in agony, the people on the ride thought it was natural and part of the attraction. So he was there for hours.
No way.
Yes.
What?
And this was before the technology and everything has been updated onto the attraction. So now we have the pressure plates, we have the sensors, we have the red light, infrared sensors, so that we would do a hard E-stop. So that way if somebody did jump out of an attraction, you can't do this today, y'all. Like,
no.
Lights would be on before this could happen.
Yeah.
So I assume this happened in the 80s, back when this was like a really big thing. And yeah, so now there's grates there. Where so if you try to go, you're not going to fall straight down, but there is a spot supposedly still there at the Walt Disney World one where there's a hole where somebody's leg got caught in it trying to jump over there, and they were not successful. But there is always a backup Madame Leota head in case somebody ever tries to take her.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yep. She's in a box in the back.
She's in a box. Wow. Is her face not projected onto the thing, or is it actually in there? No, it is projected in there, because it's just like how they talked about it in the magic show that you were talking about, Megan. Yeah, behind the attraction. Yeah.
It's the same type of technology, but somebody wants the actual globe and they want the projection head.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. They want the glass ball.
They want the glass ball. And because that'd be like the ultimate Disney animatronic, one of the most famous ones would be Madame Leota's head.
People, it's just so crazy. Like you want a stolen, like, from the attraction. People are nuts, honestly.
Same thing happened with Buzzy.
Like, you'd be proud of that? You'd really be proud of that? Really?
Yeah, I know.
Crazy.
So
crazy.
That is the myth and the legend that there is still a bounty out there for Madame Leota's head.
I'm sure there are quite a few bounties for artifacts in attractions that I don't know about. I am not on the black market, y'all, and I never will be. So
too sketchy.
It's too sketchy for me. Sorry. All right. Okay. Well, we're at number 1.
Yeah.
And just want to say thank y'all so much for listening to this these last 2 weeks. We've had so much fun talking about our Disney Miss, our favorite Disney Miss. If you want some more content, or you just want more from us, we do have our link to the Patreon in the episode notes, and we'll be having some more bonus content for you very soon. We are going to, of course, do our bonus episode for everyone coming up very soon,
whether Danny and Chris like it or not.
Yep, we're doing it. Merry early Christmas. So that's happening, but be sure to, of course, be following us on Disney Countdown Show, at Disney Countdown Show on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok, and Pod Disney on Twitter/X. And thank you, of course, to our Patreon fan for being here. So, get into our number 1. Mine's a little bit dark. I'm not gonna lie. It's
around,
for sure
y'all.
for
now
spooky
we're into
season.
The spooky part of this episode.
I went for the spooky one, and this is because I love true crime. I am one of those women who loves to listen to, like, grisly things that have happened in the past. I'm sorry, I know. I'll read about it a lot. I am a true crimer, but it's that there's a myth out there that there have been no deaths at Disneyland. No one dies at Disneyland. And I can tell you right now that there have been deaths at Disneyland, and there have been some very grisly deaths at Disneyland.
A lot that we cannot share here on the podcast.
I cannot share the details of them, but in decades past, yes, people have lost their lives in the park, and it's been very, very sad. Attractions have either completely shut down or and this is why we have all the safety measures that we have today, is because a lot of them
the customers can tell you no.
Why the customers tell you no, exactly, because you can cause yourself some serious bodily harm. You are dealing with a lot of mechanics in the parks, right? So, like any ride, things can go wrong. Most of the time, unfortunately, it is user error. So if you're not listening, if you're not paying attention, if you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, you can cause yourself some serious harm, and people actually have lost their lives because of some mistakes that were made. However, there were actually technical mechanical errors that did happen that was really Disneyland's fault. But they fixed it over the years, and that's why we have all these safety precautions in place to keep you safe and healthy and all that good stuff. But that is a myth, because yes, there have been some quite a number of deaths at Disneyland. So sorry to burst your bubble.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
Basically, don't do something ridiculous that cast members have to fill out paperwork. They don't want to do it.
No, we don't want the paperwork and lawsuits and all that stuff. So be safe, follow the rules, and everyone's going to have a very magical day.
Yay!
Yay! And get to go home safe and sound.
Goodness.
So, well, anyway, what is your number one, Danielle?
That is a good number one, Megan. That is actually a very good number one. And
it's
sadly,
very grisly for Halloween. Yeah.
I think I've covered a TikTok about that also. Like, people asking, and I'm like, no, I mean, yes, but no. Yeah, no. But my number one is actually a lot more lighter than some of my other ones, surprisingly.
Oh, okay. All right.
My number one, and I did have to confirm this with my Haunted Mansion cast members, so shout out to the Walt Disney World Haunted Mansion cast fam, Jacoby and all of them over there. I appreciate you answering my questions and answering promptly, actually. There is a legend kind of similar to George over at Pirates of the Caribbean, but this one is not a specific ghost. There is a rumor for the Walt Disney World cast that when you are walking through the Haunted Mansion in the morning and closing, you walk the track, double check, make sure everything is all good and okay. The scene where there's the guy trying to get out of the coffin, there is a crow sitting on one of the wreaths.
Yes.
You have to pet the crow and give him his good morning pats, or the ride will just either not open the entire day or will be spicy and keep shutting down multiple times.
Wow. So it'll glitch. Yeah.
Yes. And it is such a accurate superstition that they actually document to make sure, like, or not document, but the cast members, like, if something happens, they will go to the opening team person and ask them, did you pet the crow this morning?
Really?
And
wow.
A lot, and if they usually say, no, I completely forgot. Oh, well, that explains it. Yeah.
That's why. Yeah. That's so
why.
Crazy.
And
didn't know about that one.
I know, right? And that's something that I had heard that through the years. And of course, like, y'all, cast members are very superstitious about a couple things. Like, they have a couple rituals and stuff that they have to do for certain key attractions, just because the joke is certain lands are cursed. Yes. Yeah. But that is the one for Haunted Mansion here at Walt Disney World that I can confirm from the cast that they still do to this day.
Yep, so there you go. If you're going to work the morning shift at Haunted Mansion, make sure that you pet that dang crow.
That's true.
Because that is a very popular ride over there at Magic Kingdom, and we cannot have it breaking down multiple times a day. So, pet the crow. I pet the crow, yeah.
Well, I thought that was a good list, Megan. Yes.
That was pretty good. That's not too bad. I'm excited to talk about our 15 through 11, the ones that that did not make it. So, but I loved your list. I love always love the contrast in our lists. I think that's always really interesting. obviously there's some that were a little bit darker than others, but for the most part, very, very interesting. So thank you for all of your inside facts, Danielle.
Yes, we're just excited for the Halloween season as we get a little bit closer, and we're gonna have that bonus episode for you. We're gonna have more coming out. It maybe not as gruesome in our other mystery fact stuff, but we'll be talking about those. And we're still deciding what our next 2 episodes for the month of October are going to be. So stay tuned, and it'll definitely be very Halloween. What's the audio that's going around on TikTok, Megan? Oh, what is it?
Is it Halloween?
Everybody outside. It's time for Halloweenkies. No? Oh my gosh. Hold on. I am going to try to find it real quick. And Chris, you're going to have to maybe put this over top if you can find the actual audio.
That is so funny.
Time for... Oh, yes. Oh, wait. Somebody... Let me see if I can play this correctly.
Look at this. It's time to Halloweenkies outside. Everybody, saca tu Halloweenski design. So outside your house. Look at this.
It's so cute. I love the audio, and a lot of people have been using it for like Disneyland's decor and Disney World's Halloween decor. So that's how I've seen the audio. And of course, when you like it once, it keeps popping up over and over again. So
yes.
Oh
my God, that's so funny. I love that one. I haven't heard that yet.
Again, it just different algorithms. What shows up on one versus the other.
That's true. That is so funny.
Yes.
But yeah, thanks so much for listening, guys. And we definitely, if you have suggestions on what we should do for our next couple countdowns, please let us know. We got a new one for you next week. And yeah, thank you guys so much again for tuning in and listening wherever you are. So until next week, have a very, very magical day.
And night, sleep tight, dream of churros tonight. As Danielle disappears into the side.